So I've been thinking about you, and I've really wanted to show you a sequence you can do when you're traveling in a hotel room. And I'm here in Cambria, California, and I want to show you some things you can do. Quick, easy, and it will feel so good. So on the bed, right when you wake up, I like to start with, my back gets pretty tight when I'm sleeping, so I'll be on the bed. I'll start with just one leg up. I'm holding my leg if I'm super stiff and supporting myself. If you can also do it without holding your leg, but I'm just extending and bending my knee. And what that's going to do is that's going to draw in all the fluids, the heat, the oxygen to your muscles of the hamstring, the back of the thigh, loosen all that up, which subsequently loosens up your back. Then I'll hold it at the top and I'll point and flex the ankle, relieving the ankle of stiffness. Then I'll go right to left, and then some circles. And of course you can do that on both sides. After that, I'm going to bring both knees up, extend and bend. Now always use the speed, the range, the timing that you like that feels good. This should feel good. Extending and bending the legs. Now once I bring both knees up and I don't have one foot down, that increases the core activation quite a bit. As I go up to the top, I'm trying to drive the heel and pull the toes. Do that compassionately, because when you're just awake, those tissues are going to be stiff. So if you're feeling any pain, don't do it that far. Back off a little bit in the flex of the foot and allow your body to wake up and hydrate and soften. Then I might go both legs together. This is a work in progress. You'll figure out things you like to do for your own body, but get started with something. From there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one foot across and I'm going to rock right and left. This is a nice, gentle way to wake up the spine. And I would normally be looking straight up. You could even do a few looking left and then looking right. And then I would switch legs, of course. Now, if you want to wake up your belly a bit, what you can do is you can, with the foot crossed, you can bring the knees to the chest. And what that's going to do, this is quite a soft bed, so I'm sort of falling into the bed, but it still works. If you bring the knees to the chest and round your back, that starts to activate the core even more, and it decompresses the spine, so it feels really good. Your reps are really up to you. This is not a workout, this is waking up your body compassionately. Then I'm going to end with a little bit of, I'll say, let's say straight-legged. I'm going to put my body straight, my hands are flat, drive my head down through the bed. And as I'm driving it down through the bed, I'm pulling the back of the neck long. Then I'm going to focus driving my neck down into the bed. That decompresses and lengthens the spine. Then I'm going to drive the back of my chest down into the bed. Then my lower rib cage down into the bed. This one feels particularly good for me because I have a very arched back. When you drive your lower rib cage into the bed, it opens up the lower back. Then drive the lower back spine into the bed. Then the buns into the bed. Then the hamstrings, the back of the knees, the calves, the heels. Now everything is flexing on the back end of your body, and then relax. From there, what we're going to do is we're going to come on up and we're going to do some hip stretching over at the desk. So most hotel rooms have a desk. I'll pull out the chair. The foot is straight. Make sure it's not turned out. You've learned that before in the series before this. One foot up, I'm holding onto the side of the chair and then the desk, and I'm going to rock forward and rock back. You've seen this before, your hip flexor stretch. Do this gently. Feel what you're feeling. Be mindful and compassionate. This is about being kind to your body, getting on your feet, having already woken it up. I'm going to add the arm driver, and that just accentuates the stretch to the front of the hip. Go with the speed and the range that feels good. I'm already starting to heat up. Hold here and then go laterally right at the hip. The hip leads the torso. Notice that my arm is at my ear level. Try not to bring it forward, bring it all the way up, because that's forcing the shoulder muscles to wake up as well. Also, as you go laterally, be careful you're not turning. That indicates that your side is tight. So try and keep yourself lateral. Keep the arm at the ear level. If that bothers your shoulder at all, you don't have to do that. You can keep your hand here if you have a shoulder injury. Then I'm going to go circles. My numbers are really about feeling. How does it feel? Am I loosening up? Maybe about 5 reps a piece. Then change directions. Be sure that your standing foot stays straight forward. A lot of times it's going to try and turn out, and that loses some of the power of the stretch. The last one I'm going to do is I'm going to check my foot, make sure it's straight. I'm going to come forward and turn into it, tuck the hip, pull the belly up and lean slightly back, and then come on out of it. Forward, turn out, tuck, lean back, make sure your foot doesn't spin. Now, if this hurts your back at all, don't go that far. Just go where you can go. That's the beauty of these movements, is that you do what your body allows you to do. I'm going to finish by going into it, and I can really feel my body heating up, and that's the point, is to bring the fluids, the heat, the oxygen, and the nutrients to the site where your body needs it, which is the cells. I'm going to take that down, move that away, and use this great desk for a hamstring stretch. Oh, I want to show you something else. A few of you have asked for easier ways to do the hamstring, the back butt stretch. You can use the chair like this for your hamstring stretch. You're going to come here now. Important stuff. Make sure that your hip is square forward, it's not turned out. Make sure that that standing foot is straight forward, that it's not turned out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my chair, my desk, and reach forward to wherever I feel the stretch. You don't have to touch the toe. You can even unlock the knee. It's a fallacy that your knee has to be straight to get a hamstring stretch. Do not bounce. What you're doing actually is you're slowing down as you get to the end range. You're listening to your body. You're feeling where it starts to tug, and then you back off. And this is creating the pumping action that pulls in the fluids and all the vital components to your cells. I'm going to go forward for several, then into the diagonal. My hips are allowed to turn for several, and then I'm going to turn across. So that's the easier, more gentle option than having the leg up on the table that I showed in the last series. Some of you needed a digression for that. Then if I wanted to do the back butt more easily, I'm going to put the foot here and then rock forward and back. I can also take this one and do it on the bed. If I want to make it easier, I can do it on the bed here. And then after I've done my forward and back and my side to side and my circles in both directions, then I'm going to go over. So here's a more gentler option if you can't get your leg up on the table yet. And that's totally fine. Now, when you are taking this one and progressing up to the level of the table, one way to make this one harder is to make up for the low height with length of the standing leg. So then this is a little bit harder as you're working yourself up to now this level, which is a higher level. So here is the hamstring at a higher level. I like to put the towel down because it hurts my bones to be on the hard surface. My foot is straight, my hips are square, pretty important. That's where a lot of people lose their stretch. I also would like to pull my toes up, but again, I'm being gentle and compassionate to my foot. I'm going to start off by rocking forward till I feel the stretch, and I can feel that all the way down to the bottom of the foot. By the way, this tissue that starts at the bottom of the foot, the plantar surface, goes all the way back up the heel, the calf, the hamstring, the butt, the two sides of the spine, all the way up to your cranium. So when you have a tight neck or a lot of tension in your shoulders, we can relieve that by relieving your calf and your hamstring. So we'll go several ups forward. Again, the range and the numbers and the speed is up to you. As I go, I can feel this loosening up. I'm trying to start to pull my toes back toward me, and particularly my pinky toe. After several there, I'm going to turn and go diagonally. Notice how I'm using the table for stability. My hips are allowed to turn. See, my hips are turning out, but my standing foot is still straight forward. I'm getting a great groin hamstring stretch. I'm still pulling my toes back towards me, especially my pinky toe. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across to the opposite side. This one is the most advanced part of this stretch. Now I've done it, I'm doing it last because I want to give my tissues, a chance to heat up and soften. Now I might end with the hardest part, which is holding my toe, the outside of my foot. I'm coming across and I'm holding the outside of the foot, and then I'm going diagonally across, and that's trapping my tissues in a really unique way that's really giving me a big stretch where I'm tight, where most people are tight. There's one other option I wanted to show you. What I like about the desk is I can hold on my hands here, and then I can rock laterally, because when you rock laterally and you keep your hips square versus turning out, you're really gonna get a big stretch like that. Okay, so from there, I'm gonna go on to the back butt stretch. Again, I like a towel. My standing foot is straight. I'm going to start off by going forward and back. Forward and back. Your knee is floating. It's not on the desk. It's allowed to float. After several forward and back, I'm going to go side to side. Now, it really helps to underhand grip this desk. My hips are square forward. In fact, if anything, to get a greater stretch, I'm turning into the leg with my hips. And after there, I'm going a few circles. My foot's floating around, but that's okay. I can hold it to keep it from moving too much, and then change directions. The numbers, if I had to give you a number, would be about 5 reps. And then we finish off by adjusting the foot over, keeping things square, torso goes down. And you'll really feel this in the side of the hip that's up. I call this the back butt stretch. So I'll do several forward, several turning in diagonal, and then I'll do several turning out diagonal. I love this little desk because I have some good hand holds. Now, by the way, my other hand here is pushing as I'm pulling. So there's a lot of pushing and pulling in really effective stretching. You can do a lot of pushing and pulling. So that's the hip stretch. Then I'm going to come on over and do a pec stretch. So what I'm doing with you is I'm running through some common things that I'll do just to make my body feel happy when I'm in a traveling situation. You grab onto any wall or corner or doorway. My hand is up about shoulder level, a little higher. If you have a shoulder injury, you might want to go lower, so just listen to your body. The same arm, the same leg that's back is the arm that's up. So this is my target chest, is forward. So whatever arm I'm using, I use that leg forward, and I rock forward and back for several, and then I'll step into it and rock towards that pec, that chest muscle that I'm stretching. This actually works your core. This is a core workout. This is already activating your core. Then I'll hold into it. I'll turn towards that area, look down, and look up, and I'll almost always get a pop in my back, just on cue, right there. And that feels so good. And then, of course, I'll do both sides. And then I'm going to finish with a little bit of a neck stretch. My feet are under the hips. My feet are straight, shoulders down and back. I'm going to bring my head over and over. I'm going to show you one that I haven't showed you before on YouTube. I'm going to come on over, and then I'm going to let my head fall forward naturally, wherever it falls forward. And then come on over to the other side and let it fall forward naturally. And then I'm just going to continue with that little bit of a C shape, that little arc shape, right, back and forth, back and forth. And that just feels so good. And that's a kind way to wake up your body when you're traveling. And you know what I'm going to say. I'm Lisa Huck, and I'm here to remind you that movement is a miracle.